How we doing, guys? I hope everybody had a great New Year's Eve, but today it's 2023. It's time to get focused and ready for the year ahead of sneaker drops. Now listen, if you're new here, we do this every single Sunday. We go over the upcoming releases and we recap past releases. So if you want to stay up to date and in the loop with all of the upcoming sneaker drops, be sure to sub up to the channel and of course chuck me a follow over on Instagram. That way I can keep you updated. Alright, so let's talk about this past week. So the main release, the final big sneaker release that happened to end off 2022 was the Jordan 2 Chicago. So I'm over here on the Nike sneakers app. So this is the US page. So everybody out in the US, these are the sizes that are still available. It only goes up to a men's 7. Over here on the UK Nike sneakers app, you can see it is a bit of a different story. You can get any size all the way up to a UK 9. That's a US 10. And then for the women's sizes, they are all still there. None of them sold out. Actually be interested to see the difference between the women's Chicago 2 and the men's pair. There is a £10 price difference as well, so that's a little bit strange. I thought they'd be exactly the same. Either way, let's keep it moving. I think that's pretty much the main release that happened. There might have been some other ones. If there were, if you managed to get any other W's, let me know down in the comments. So let's jump into this upcoming news, and we're going to kick it off with a very clean pair of Jordan 4s that we just got some official images of, and that is this pair right here, which is not the Seafoam 4s. They're actually called the Oil Green Jordan 4. I think previously we saw the early leaked images. I think there was even an image of it on the Nike sneakers app, but this is exactly how they're going to be. These are the official images for this pair of sneakers. I gotta say, this is a very clean pair. I've said it a decent amount of times. The Jordan 4 is now like Jordan Brand's most popular sneaker model. Honestly, what I'm really looking forward to in 2023 is some of the more different colorways, but I do think that this one is pretty solid. The release date on these is February the 9th. I believe this is going to be the first Jordan 4 of 2023. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of this one. Let's keep it moving. Now, something that I touched on in yesterday's video, which was just basically going over sneaker trends for 2023, was the Jordan 2. There is going to be an insanely high amount of Jordan 2s dropping in 2023, and we've got two new colorways on top of that. And this is the latest one. This is the Air Jordan 2 Low Craft Atmosphere. The release date on these is apparently April 8th, and this is just a speculation mock-up, so this is based off of, I believe, the color code. Now, the other Jordan 2 Low colorway that I was talking about is this one, which I believe is another mock-up. This is the Black Pale Vanilla coming in August. Again, the actual sneaker could differ, but as you can see, this is all over almost like a kind of, almost like a snakeskin type of material. It's all over black with this vanilla color. Apparently, this specific release date for these is going to be August the 4th. All right, so moving on from Jordan 2s, we've got our best looks yet at the highly anticipated upcoming Jordan 3 Lucky Green. This is them here. They kind of seem to have a similar thing where they're like, are these a little bit aged? I know that the plastic back tab is different to the Jordan 3 Reimagined. This one's just solid white, but the midsole on these kind of look a little bit sailed out. I don't know whether there's going to be some kind of aged effect. I think it's a solid colorway. I believe it's a women's exclusive, so I don't think that they'll do extended sizing. It'll go up to like a US 10.5 or something. The specific release date for these is April the 6th, 2023. Again, all of these release dates might change. Moving over to some Adidas news, we've just got official images of the upcoming Sean Wotherspoon Adidas Orchetro. The Orchetro model is actually something that I thought was very interesting from Adidas this year. I thought that it did look pretty cool, and this Sean Wotherspoon collaboration, I think he's been teasing it for like the entire year, but it looks like we're finally going to be getting it right around the corner, early 2023. We don't have a specific month. I don't think this one's going to do anything insane in terms of hype or anything like that. The Orchetro model was never really that hyped up. I just thought that it looked pretty solid. We're going to get into some dunk news. We've got a couple upcoming pairs, including a huge piece of news that we got, but let's kick it off with this one. This is the Nike Dunk Low Copper Swoosh. These are actually right around the corner, dropping on January the 4th. So if you wanted this copper swoosh pair, it looks pretty interesting. Nothing that I'm particularly excited about. It's all over navy with some lilac overlays, and then obviously the copper swoosh color. Another pair of dunks, a slightly cleaner looking pair. That is the Nike Dunk Low 10 in white. I don't think we have an official color name, but these are going to be dropping at some point this year. This is some early sneaker images. Again, this looks like a pretty standard dunk. A pair of dunks that is anything but standard is the new information that we just got, that apparently there's going to be a Nike SB Dunk Low Heineken 2.0. What you're looking at is the original SB Dunk Heineken, which was kind of a interesting story behind it. It was never an official collaboration with Heineken, but obviously the look of it is very clear what it's trying to look like. And if you take a look at StockX, the original Heineken Heineken Nike SB Dunk Low is ridiculously expensive. This is a very, very sought after and legendary pair of dunks. And apparently here in 2023, we're gonna get some kind of 2.0 version. Now, I don't think in this article we can see like whether Nike is actually gonna collaborate with Heineken, but from what I'm seeing, it might just be some kind of like inspired colorway that's not an actual collaboration. Now, I think it's entirely possible that they could just kind of re-release this exact sneaker, but we don't know. We don't have any images of what it's going to look like. All we have is this 2003 pair, and we know that some kind of Heineken 2.0 is going to be dropping this year. That is absolutely insane. It really adds to the stacked list of upcoming dunks for 2023. Like, we know that Nike is going to be doing a SB Dunk Low with Supreme. We know that even Eminem is going to get some kind of collaboration. Run the Jewels, Born and Raised, and even Jarritos, which is actually, we've got some on-foot images. That's our next story. The on-foot shots of the upcoming Jarrito dunks. These should be landing spring 2023, and then we finally get to see what these look like on foot. This is very, very quickly becoming one of the most hyped up sneakers to drop in 2023. I've seen a lot of people talking about this pair of sneakers, and it seems like a lot of people really like the look of them. All right, so next up, we've got some pretty massive news on the Jordan 1 front. I don't know how Jordan Brand kept this one under wraps. It seems like we've got a lot of leaks early on, like at the end of 2022. Now we've got some more news, which is arguably some of the craziest stuff that's again going to be dropping this year. So apparently this holiday season, the Air Jordan 1 High OG Black Toe is going to have the Reimagined treatment. So obviously, we just came off of the Lost and Found Chicago Jordan 1 release, and obviously people loved that. That was pretty massive. Well, I think a OG Black Toe with a aged twist is definitely going to be up there in terms of Jordan 1 High. So this image for now is just a rendered image of what the sneaker could look like, but from what we understand, it's going to be a literal OG Black Toe pair of Jordan 1s with just aged treatment, just like the Lost and Founds. I assume you can expect these similar details like the sail midsole, some of the cracked leather on the upper. I am definitely going to be in line for this pair of sneakers, and I think a lot of people will, given that the original Black Toes are ridiculously expensive. Again, like I said, these are going to be dropping in the holiday season, so we're definitely going to have to wait to get more images to see what these things actually look like, and I assume we're going to get that pretty soon, so I'll keep you up to date. We're not done with the crazy Jordan news, because we've also got an early leak for 2024 now, and that is the fact that the OG Jordan 1 High Royal is also getting the Reimagined treatment. So again, similarly to what we just spoke about with the Black Toes, this is going to be true to the original Royal Jordan 1. It's just going to be reimagined. So again, all of that, I guess, cracked leather and aged midsole type of thing. This is another rendered image of what the pair of sneakers is going to look like, but it's pretty crazy that Jordan Brand is just throwing all of these insane retros out there and doing this reimagined treatment, which honestly, if it gets us retros of these classic colorways, I'm pretty happy with. And let me know what you think about this one. Let's keep it moving. Now, sticking with Jordan 1s, this is a very interesting pair that's going to be dropping this year. Take a look at this. This is the Air Jordan 1 High OG Vibrations of Naija. So essentially, this sneaker is going to have some kind of storyline based on inspiration from Nigeria. I don't know what the exact story and theme behind this sneaker is, and the color blocking seems relatively simple actually for what it is. Pretty much just all over white with some sail accents in the laces, the inner sock liner, and then of course the Jordan Wings logo over there. Leather actually looks really decent on this one. I'm not entirely sure if people are really going to be like super hyped about it just because it's such a simple colorway. Now, in terms of release date, apparently these things are going to be dropping on May the 27th. All right, so we got a pretty wild pair of Nike dunks to take a look at. So check these things out. This is the Nike Dunk Low CO.JP for 2023. So these are some early on-foot shots, and these things are looking wild to say the least. So the base material seems to be all over snakeskin leather with a literal like snakeskin pattern on it as well. These things are going to be dropping March 2023. Again, this continues the CO.JP theme for Jordan Brand and Nike. But yeah, no specific release date in March, just at some point. But a speculative mock-up of an upcoming pair of Jordan 1 lows. Take a look at this. This is the Atmosphere Gray, and we already have a release date for September the 8th. But it seems like this sneaker is going to take a lot of inspiration from the bleached coral pair of Jordan 1 lows that we got this year with the pink on the back. This one just seems to have Atmosphere Gray. I gotta say, it's pretty clean. As soon as we get some actual images of what this sneaker is going to look like, you know I will keep you guys up to date. All right, we've also got the official images of the upcoming Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined, very quickly becoming one of 2023 2023's most hyped up sneakers. In fact, I've seen a lot of early pairs of these things bumping around online, which I assume means that there's going to be a decent amount of stock for this pair of shoes. I think a lot of people are going to try and tick this one off of their box this year. Anyway, these are the official images. Again, you can see them. We've seen these things on foot. We've seen these things with the official images. So we're just waiting for the release now, which is on March the 11th. One of the more interesting pairs of Jordan 5s that we spoke about, I believe last week or the week before, but we finally have some better images of what these things are actually going to look like. And I gotta say, I'm pretty hyped for these. So take a look at this here. This is the Air Jordan 5 SE Craft. So again, Jordan brand leaning into that craft naming or version of their Jordan sneakers. All over this super bright platinum gray on the upper. You've got an iced out outsole. You've got gray accents. The only thing that throws this sneaker off for me personally is that orange Jumpman and the orange tongue. This pair is supposedly going to be dropping on June the 17th. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, but let's keep it moving. One of the bigger stories that happened earlier this week, the fact that Eastbay is going to be closing down for good at the end of 2022. So yeah, it's closed down. Now, Eastbay is a US sneaker retailer. A lot of people from what I can see online are mainly super upset about all of the sneaker catalogs. I'm not familiar with it, but apparently it was insanely popular back in the day out in the US. And the current mailing list for the catalogs is over 400,000 subscribers deep. Yeah, definitely sad news. Again, this is a US thing, so it's not really something that I ever took part in. Certainly let me know if you have any memories of Eastbay and how this news affects you, but let's keep it moving. Adidas came up with a pretty crazy new design, which I wanted to show you guys. Take a look at this. So they're extending their Adi Foam range with the Adi Foam Superstar. That's right, they took their retro Superstar model and then just created it out of their Adi Foam material, which is kind of like the 3D printed looking stuff that you saw on the Adi Foam Q. Now this one is just a solid piece of foam, unlike the Adi Foam Q, which had an inner sock piece. These things, I don't know how they feel on foot. Apparently these dropped out in the US. They haven't dropped here in the UK. I don't know if anybody's tried these things out. So if this is a pair that interested you, just be on the lookout, because apparently there's going to be a lot more on the way. All right, another one that's pretty big for anybody who's a Supreme fan. Take a look at this. Apparently Supreme is going to be migrating to Shopify as their platform and their website. Now the reason that this is a news story is the fact that Supreme moving from their own e-commerce solution in favor of Shopify potentially could make it a lot easier for bots. Apparently Shopify is a lot easier for bots to take advantage of and be able to cop stuff. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't even know when they're going to make this switch. But again, if you're someone who's a Supreme fan and you found it super hard to buy Supreme stuff as a manual user, potentially this Supreme moving to Shopify could make it a lot harder to be able to secure your stuff without a bot. That's something that I thought was pretty interesting. So obviously we've seen everybody's top 10 sneakers of 2022. We know what generally people think were the best sneakers of 2022, but the Nike Sneakers app came out with the top 10 releases of 2022, being like they have the data for this. So they've taken a look at how many people entered for sneakers, and they've come up with a top 10 list for the most wanted styles of the year by the US sneakers community. So coming in at number 10 was the Jordan 1 High 85, which is pretty interesting. Number 9 was the Nike Dunk Low Jackie Robinson. This is a pair of sneakers that I've heard so many people talk about, but the fact is it only dropped out in the US, so I've never seen a pair in hand. It's super hard for me to get a pair. Coming in at number 8 was the Air Max 1 Travis Scott, which is pretty interesting. I think that's fairly fitting. Travis Scott did absolutely kill it in 2022. Number 7 was the Jordan 4 Ama Manure, which is most people's number 1 or number 2 best sneaker of the year. Beating the Ama Manure 4s is the Nike Dunk Low Union collaboration. Again, this was extremely hyped when it first came out. Coming in at number 5 was the Jordan 1 Chicago Lost and Found, which I thought was pretty interesting. I thought it'd be way higher up on the list. Coming in at number 4 was the Jordan 1 Travis Scott Low Black Phantom. That is pretty interesting. Coming in at number 3 was the Air Force 1 Off-White Brooklyn. And coming in at number 2, which I think is one of the most interesting placements, is the Concepts Orange Lobster Dunks. That is pretty wild. I I mean, I know that it's a super hyped up sneaker, I just didn't expect it to be at number 2. Then at number 1, with no surprise, is the Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott Sail Ridge Rock, or the reverse mochas. So that is Nike Sneakers app list, which really reveals what people were truly hyped for in 2022. Let me know what you think of this, but let's keep it moving to today's final story, and that is we gotta talk about the freaking mold problem that Nike has. This has been happening over and over again. I believe it started with the Jordan 1 Lost and Found, where a bunch of images surfaced online of people getting mold on their pairs of shoes. So as you can see from these images, this is the Lost and Found, and all around this ankle area there's mold all over it. Now this happened again and again for different releases. Jordan 1 Low Travis Scott Black Phantom, there was pairs seen with mold on there as well, and even the Amama and Year 4s, some pairs had mold on those as well. So it seems like the source of this issue is Nike, and we haven't heard anybody address it in terms of like anything official. That is true. Here in 2022 there's been a lot of sneaker delays, sneakers that have been pushed back for a long time, meaning that Nike has just had to hold on to them for a longer period of time than intended. Also, we found out that Nike is sitting on a lot more sneakers than they normally would. I think the percentage was 40% uptick in Nike's inventory of sneakers, so that could also be a problem. Like, they've got so many sneakers on hand that maybe they're not able to store them how they normally would. But we've got the speculations, and let me know what you think of this down in the comment section. But that is my final story for today, guys. Thank you so much for coming through, hanging out yet again, another one. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one, but until then.